Hey guys, it's Rudar here. Today we're going to go over the 11.1 Balance Sheet PvP guide. This guide we're going to go over gear, talents, and damage. So for your gear, you're going to want to get 2 set. This is from your conquests. So 1600 conquests first week, you're going to buy a helmet, you buy gloves. You're also going to hit 1600 rating in any bracket, 1600 rating. You'll get a quest in your inventory that you'll churn in for 9 of the crafting tokens. So you'll be able to craft rings and your neck. And then you'll also get something in your inventory that's like a little green thing that you'll right click. That will allow you to convert both your helmet and your gloves into tier set this week. And then also you can get bloody token, boots, and back. And then the next following weeks you just fill your gear out. You just buy items from the vendor. One thing for embellishments is you're going to want to play your focusing lens. This will just do the most damage. It'll be the best this season. I think next season we might play the secondary stat proc, just because of the way certain things scale with like secondary stats. We might want that next season, but for this season we're going to want to play the damage embellishment. For stat priority, we're just going to go straight haste first. Don't worry about stat DRs this season. Just go straight haste first. You'll be good. You'll have some mastery in your 4 set. So let's see what we want to play for the other pieces. So we want helmet. We want gloves. Shoulders look pretty bad. Oh, no way. Okay. Helmet. Shoulders. Gloves, pants, okay? You don't want the chest piece, so you actually will want the shoulders. So helmet, shoulders, gloves, pants. The reason we don't want the chest piece is because that has a bunch of crit. Crit is really bad for Boomkin, and it's really bad for PvP in general. That's what we're going to want for the gear. Let's go over the talents. So I've multiple talent builds. The main build, I think, for Arena, the main build you guys are going to want to play is this. Tireless Pursuit. If it's melee, Fury, Swarm, and Thorns. If it's not melee, then you can swap for like High Winds and Outcon Adept. But if it is melee, then go Fury, Swarm, and Thorns. Play this build like almost every game. You can just play the Decurse variant. It's a very minor... Like, you just lose a little bit of armor to play the Decurse variant, so you could play this just every single game, and you'd be solid. You'd be completely, like, you would have everything you need. So, this talent build is really OP for 90% of situations in Arena. So, Tireless Pursuit, the way this works is when you enter travel form, you get, like, 40% move speed after you leave. You enter cat form. Leave. Oh, you have 40%. It's probably because of feline swiftness. That's actually broken. Okay. So you get 40% from cat form too. So Tireless Pursuit super broken. One thing you need to know about this is if you use mount form, so your mount form, and then you leave this form, so I'll cancel form, you don't get Tireless Pursuit. So make sure you're not using mount form. You're using travel form in Arena, or else this talent will not work. So, Tireless Pursuit, Fairy Swarm, Thorns. Super broken talent build. Melee just can't do anything. Like, they just can't connect to you. So, yeah. This is the talent build I'll play. The talents are pretty much the same as, like, the last, like, 6+ seasons for the most part. Like, there's nothing really new you're playing here. Only thing that might look a little weird is I'm playing a 5-second reduced CD on Typhoon. This is just for more Typhoons, especially for kiting warriors. This is really, really nice. Yeah, this is like the cookie cutter loadout. If you happen to play a comp that you need to play aggressive with, then play the in loadout. The only difference is I'm swapping Denizen of the Dream for Astronomical Impact. This is just for higher burst. I'm also swapping out the Typhoon talent for Forest Walk, which is just more sustain surviving, because you're not going to be kiting as much. When you play in and you play for Cyclones, so you're playing Boomy Rogue, You want to play Moon Kenora, then you want to play How Can I Adapt, then you want to play Moon and Stars. But for the most part, for like all your solo shuffles and stuff, I would just play this talent build. This is like free low. This is like this talent build is broken. This is so free. So talent build, I'll have all the links in the description, or actually, let's see here. I'll have all the links here. So rudars.com/talents, and you'll just have, you just copy the import and import all the talent builds you need. PvP talents are a little bit off here. I would play Tireless Pursuit instead of Moon Kenora for these out decurse kiting talents. But yeah, just copy all the loadouts in. These are the main builds. AoE build, this is what I'm playing currently. If you want to consult the AoE expert Supatees, you can always go over twitch.tv/Supatees and ask the boy out. He will hook you up with the best AoE build. This is it's just pretty standard. You're playing Boundless Bloom, so you get spam AP when you press Trents. So if I press Trents, my AP bar just keeps spamming up to top. So you can just spam Starfall when you press Trents. That's basically the only difference. You'll get Star Search procs, so that way you can keep up your Moon Kenora when you play this build. These talents. Star Weaver gives you Star Search procs. Also just play Rattle the Stars. Kind of whatever you really want for this talent build. If you want more burst, you'd play Rattle. If you want more sustain and like team crit, you play this build. You play Star Weaver. Next we have RMP. So this build is just the most defensive tanky build. So this is the same kind of damage loadout as the out build, so the highest DPS. The only difference is we're playing Incap Roar for more disrupts during goes. We also have Heart of the Wild, so we don't die. And we're also going to play Fury Swarm, and we're going to play Protector of the Grove into this. You do want Moon Kenora because it's good purge protection into that comp. In case you have like bops or hots, you don't want to be fully purged out before it goes. Moon Kenora is nice for that. Then Fury Swarm, Protector of the Grove, really good for peeling the goes. Next we have Blitz. So this is like my Blitz build. I think it's pretty good. Basically, when you press double dots, Trent's Celestial Alignment, Convoke, it's just a 100-0 every single time. So basically, if you're trying to take a base, you can just double dot Trent's Incarn, Bash, Convoke Spirits, and it just 100-0s people. This talent build also has Ethereal Kindling, so you can play for Starfalls if you want to. But the thing is about Starfalls is we're not playing the spam Ash Power during your Trents. We're playing a shorter CD Trents just for some more burst windows. Because most of the time, spam AoEing into Battleground Blitz most of the time isn't very good because death timers are so short. They need to be longer. So death timers in Battleground Blitz are too short for you to just wipe a team and take objectives most of the time. Or at least AoE a team down and have them like slowly brought out. Next we have just all the normal stuff. We have Rake with this build, but everything else pretty standard with this talent build. We also have Bigger Typhoon for knocking people off objectives. Next we have double DPS. There is a new talent, so symbiotic relationship. This is like not really that good. I played some Windwalker Boomy double DPS. Windwalker Boomy double DPS isn't very good. I think a lot of double DPS Boomy comps aren't very good right now. But if you do end up playing double DPS and you want to practice like kiting, then this talent build is very good. If you do that, you're going to want to play Tireless Pursuit. You're going to want to play... I'm already playing it. Protector of the Grove and Thorns. So it's a double DPS 2s. This is good for kiting. This is good for off healing. Then this is just good for also kiting and living. Because it slows melee. Next, let's go over the Convoke the spirits. So convoke the spirits when you're playing double DPS2s. Take some damage here. Gonna run out. Convoke the spirits is like your reset button when you're playing double DPS2s. So a little bit more damage. Cancel this. So when I convoke the spirits, I'm just full HP. And much more. So this talent you're not going to use for damage most of the time. Most of the time you're going to use this in double DPS2s to heal. So make sure you're out of form, you convoke. If you want extra heals, you heart, go out of form, and then convoke, and it'll do the most healing. Alright, now let's go over damage rotation. So for your damage rotation, you have basically 4 things you want to try to do. And it's kind of like a priority system. So the first thing you want to do is apply dots. Second thing you want to do is enter solar eclipse. Third thing you want to do is use your Astral Power on Star Surge. Then finally, the fourth thing you want to do is use Wrath to generate more Astral Power to do more Star Surges. That's basically the damage rotation. When you get instant Starfire procs, you'll use those instead of Wrath in Arena. But yeah, that's basically it. Dots, enter Eclipse first, then use your Star Surges, then Wrath to do more Star Surges. That's it. If you want to do burst rotation, that's just going to be Trent's, Fury Balloon, Incarn, and then Star Surges. Trent's, Fury Balloon, Incarn, and just spam Star Surge. You can weave in instant Starfire procs if you have them, and they'll do about the same, if not more, than a Star Surge during your burst. So, yeah, basically it. Alright, now I'm going to go over one arena of basically how you want to play this talent build, and mostly just how you want to play Balanced Druid. If you're playing a Rogue Boomy, I would play more aggro, play for CC, play for Cyclones. If you're playing any other comp, or if you're just fighting melee in general, then I would spec in this Tireless Pursuit talent build and just collect wins. Just collect them. Like it's so free. You barely have to do anything. And I'll show you kind of how you want to play this build. This is like a script. Play the same every single time, and you'll just win into melee cleaves. Like it's not. You don't have to like play the Cyclone War and then lose because you couldn't land Cyclones into melee cleave. Just win automatically. There's no reason to lose into these comps. And this is something that I hear a lot of Boomies struggle with. Double melee always train them. They can't get clones. They just die. They have to go bear. They're stuck in bear. You don't have to do any of that. What you want to do is you want to just kite the melee away from their healer the whole game. Hit the melee that's nearest to you, and you'll just win. But the opener is very important that you play this the exact same way every single time. So we're going to do a couple things here. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to dot the DPS before they connect to you. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to Trent's Fury Balloon Incarn Bash burst a melee DPS when they connect to you. And then finally, we are going to Cyclone them when they trinket, and that's when they trinket. They will always trinket. They will always trinket. They never don't trinket. So when they trinket, we will Cyclone them, at least attempt to. If they interrupt us, then we will Stamping Roar and kite the melee away from their healer. So let's watch this in slow-mo here. This is not something I do one time or something I try to do and only sometimes do. This is what I do every single time because it's just really the best thing you can do in the opener. It's a double melee. At least this is the best thing I figured out over many, many years of playing Boomy. This is like the best way to open into melee cleave. So double dots, backing up, don't give distance for free, don't dot and run at them. Dot and back up because you want more time to get these globals off. Trents, Fury Balloon, they finally connect. I meld the Stormbolt because I saw it on my Omnibar, but don't have to meld the Stormbolt. You just trinket the Stormbolt if they landed on you. And then I'm casting Wrath here because I'm a little bit greedy, but you want to bash, do your burst, your Star Surges, they trinket, and I'm telling you when they trinket, they will trinket, I guarantee you. Okay. My burst is basically over here. Healer Dream Breath. This guy has Avatar for 18 more seconds. My Incarn and my Trents are basically over. So they have burst up for 20 seconds. I have no burst. And they have no trinkets. So the best thing to do here is look for a Cyclone and look to cross the map. And we also don't have any stun here, so we can't play very aggro here. So Warrior's Blade Storming. Try to go the red a little bit. See if we can force anything more. Okay, we can't. So I Cyclone, Stampeding Roar. Now I'm across the map away from the enemy healer. Kick the healer there. Notice how if I get slowed, I will shift the route. I'll shift whatever slow is on me. Typhoon. Eventually we get away. Almost. Thing is, if I were to instantly run across here, the warrior might get in line of sight and just charge me here. So that's why I kind of waited there for a second. Here I finally get away, and this is something that many boomies don't get to see. They're fighting melee cleaves, and they're getting to free cast. Most boomies don't get to the point where they get to free cast into melee cleaves, but the whole goal you want to have in melee cleaves is to get to the point to where you get to free cast about like 30% of the game. And if you get to do that, you just win. Like you get to free cast for like 15 or 20 seconds, you probably just win the game. So your goal is to get to these points where you get to free cast damage to melee cleaves. Most of the time you don't want to run up and Cyclone appeal. Just stay back and just do damage when you finally get your distance. Force Lay of Hands there, pretty good. Go for a little clone here. The reason I'm trying to clone here is because I have no Stamping Roar, I have no skin. They could stun me here. I'm just gonna try to clone them before they stun me. I'm pre-cloning the go basically. So here, I'm assuming they're gonna stun me, so I clone the ret here to try to pre-clone the go. If the warrior like shockwaves me here, then the ret's clone during it and they force nothing. The go's meaningless. But yeah, in a way I kind of did pre-clone the go. They went for the Fear of the Monk. Now my monk's not pressuring the warrior. So it means, like, if the ret wasn't a clone, it'd be 2v1 or 3v2 while our monk's in a fear. So I kind of did pre-clone the go here. But now I'm just going to kite away from the enemy healer. My healer's here. It sucks. But the thing is, I'm not really too afraid here. No Stormbolt for a couple seconds. I think I can get a line of sight before they can connect to me. I get regen off. Even if I get stunned, I'm not really that scared because I'm pre-regenning back there. But now I'm going to keep running away from the enemy healer. Keep cutting the warrior. Ret's getting a little bit of uptime. But now he has to run away. Now one thing you'll notice throughout this game is most healers would play behind one of these pillars, behind one of these pillars. This healer's playing in the center of the map to try to counter my gameplay. So this healer is, since he's just playing in the center of the map, he can heal his teammates very easily because he doesn't have to cross the map and their teammates aren't going to line of sight him very hard because he's just standing in the center. But also, that has kind of like a flip side to it. He's going to get CC'd more often, so we're just going to win the game quicker through cooldowns. So here they finally connect me. I get skin up. I leap to my healer. So notice their healer's on this side of the map. My healer's on this side of the map. I'm just going to leap. I'm going to cross. And my kind of game plan here is to either run around to the right or run around to the left and maybe look for like a bash Incarn to the warrior. Warrior's on DR, so maybe I don't do it right away, but yeah, I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over to the right here. And one thing you'll notice is I'm not playing Disarm here, which I should be. I'm playing, I'm not sure what I'm playing. but I think I might be playing high winds here. But the Tireless Pursuit Disarm Thorns is really powerful into melee cleaves. If this warrior would have chased me behind pillar, I would just disarm him and he would do nothing. Beam the shrouds. I finally get distance, and notice how I'm like really hesitant to get back in this warrior line of sight because I don't want to get charged like I just did right here. I'm very hesitant to get back in line of sight of a warrior. So I see healers here, my healer's here, so I'm going to probably kite this way towards this pillar. Typhoon him. Stampeding Roar. Get my dot up. Now look where the warrior is right here. So the only way this team wins the game is if this warrior gets uptime on me. But the way I'm playing against this team is I'm making the warrior line of sight as healer, and I'm also making sure he doesn't get very good uptime. So here we get a bash on him. Right here, bash. I was gonna clone the warrior here because I thought usually I would bash and clone him and maybe cross the map here. But the reason I'm not is because I see my monk's gonna commit to this bash. We're not in voice comms on this bash here. But it's actually good he did commit and I didn't clone because we forced the warrior CDs. So as soon as we force the warrior CDs, he can't play his aggro on me. So the win condition is the warrior getting uptime on me. The warrior now cannot get uptime on me because he has no defensives to press if I run him behind pillar again and bash him. Or we hodge him or we sweep him. He can no longer chase me. So they literally just lose the game right there. And I'll go back to normal speed here. Because they basically just lose the game. I think we eventually kill the ret, but the game basically is lost off of that right there. So go for a little clones here. Not really worth it. It's most of the time it's just not really that worth it to cyclone to this. We do get a clone on the healer, but it might be pretty unimpactful. Yeah, it doesn't really mean anything. But here, as you can see, I'm just kiting away from the healer. It's not very complex. Like, especially at lower rating, like you won't have to make these like cyclone plays where you really need to. You won't really have to do those kind of plays. You could just kite and do damage, and you would just win. And there's no like variability in it. It's very scripted. Very, very scripted. I have a basher, but I don't have burst. Kind of sucks. Maybe I should have held the basher and waited for burst, because if I had it now, maybe could have killed him behind pillar. Yeah, it sucks he's on DR right here. But pretty simple. I'm using my Typhoon, my Stampeding Roar, my Wild Charge, my Bash Off CD, and I'm just cutting the warrior away from his healer the whole game. Like, see how far I am from my healer right now? Dude, what is this? Okay, look how far I am from my healer. So my healer's here, right? Watch how far I get away from my healer. Kite this guy all the way. I'm not scared. Like, I got renewal, I got regen. This guy's no Stormbolt. I'm also on DR for 10 seconds. Like, this guy is not killing me. If he like randomly had a speeder here, maybe, but I still don't even think so. Because he has no regen. He can't play aggro. Since he doesn't have his defensive cooldown from earlier, he cannot play aggro. Yeah, so he's spear now. I just skin. Look, I literally just run this guy in circles and we win. Oh, and by the way, the ret got one shot by our monk. But even if he didn't get one shot, cooldowns wise, we got their bubble, we got regen, we got commune, we got ret wall, we got triple trinkets, we got like, and we're fine on mana. We're winning in every single part of the game. And damage-wise, look at the ret's damage. Just completely nothing. Because what happens is the ret will try to hit our monk or any other melee DPS on our team. It's unimpactful. Ret damage that's not behind a Mortal Strike does like nothing. It's so easy to heal through, and it's so hard to die to. Like, that's why Ret in 2s is so bad, because it doesn't have a Mortal Strike. So the whole game is literally just a kiting battle between me and the warrior, and Boomy should always win. So unless the map is really small, like Dollar and Sewers, basically just auto win into melee cleaves with this build. And all the caster cleaves, you're not going to fight very many of them. All the melee casters, you can play the same way. The only thing that's different is jungle. Jungle's the one comp where if you're not playing Boomy Rogue, I still recommend playing like you're playing Boomy Rogue. We might have lost this game, but I think it was like our one loss into jungle. But basically, into jungle, you're going to play the in build. You're going to play Moon and Stars. You're going to play Alkan Adept. You're going to play Moonkanora. And you're going to play the in build and play a little bit more aggro for Cyclones. And notice I'm playing Forest Walk, so every time I do 5 Star Surges, I use my Regrowth. This will help you stay aggressive and keep your HP up when you're playing more aggro, because you're going to take a lot more damage when you play this way. Take very little damage when you play the kite. So, one rule of thumb when you're playing aggro and you're playing for Cyclones is you always enter Eclipse with your Starfire before you cast Cyclone. And I'll go back to the game, reconnect. The reason you want to do this is because you get a talent when your hero talent's called Cenarius Might. So that combined with Moon and Stars will make it so fake casting is really easy, and if you get kicked, it doesn't really matter because it's half duration. So let me, so Moon and Stars, 50% reduction to silence and interrupts for 6 seconds, pretty OP when you enter Eclipse. And then also Cenarius Might, 12% haste for 6 seconds when you enter Eclipse. So every time you want to Cyclone, if you're out of Eclipse, enter Eclipse first. Always do that. Just make that a rule of thumb. Every time you're going to clone, enter Eclipse first if you're not already in it. Yeah, that's basically it. That is all I have for this guide. Talents, gear, couple VOD reviews, and yeah, let me go to the basic build one more time. Tireless Pursuit, Thorns, Fury Swarm. Play this most games. If it's a caster, you can spec out a Fury Swarm. Like, if there's no melee, spec out a Fury Swarm and play like Alkan Adept High Winds instead. Or you could even play Moonkanora. And yeah, make sure to check out Rudars.com if you want to get the imports to all these talents. And I will catch you guys later. Peace out, boys.